It is officially time to set our sights on the Red Deer grind once again here on Quattro Colinas and continue looking for that great one Red Deer. And I would like to think a big mythical to start out with is a good sign. And we'll go ahead and try to take that shot with the M1. But when we left off about 3 weeks ago, we were approximately 2,300 kills in, and quite honestly, I don't remember the diamond or rare count. I know I can go back and figure it out, but ultimately that part doesn't matter that much. In the end, the goal is the same regardless of how many diamonds or rares it takes. So we are armed obviously with the M1, and I'm excited to get back into this grind. It's been a while. A lot of stuff has happened since the last time we did this, but hopefully the end result we're looking for is not too far down the road. So kind of a nice way to ease back into this grind with just a singular Red Deer. And this is the first time I've gotten to see what the fur types are going to be called now. So light brown is one of them, 240 by the way. That's a pretty big mythical. Nice way to start. Like I said, hopefully that is a good sign. And by the way, we are in multiplayer. I think Kyla's going to jump in here in a little while and help us check some of the other lakes. But for now, we'll kind of just continue working our way through the southeast area. It's still not a good thing necessarily because it's not at all realistic. But one thing that we've kind of struggled with sometimes is spawning the red deer at lakes like this where they kind of get hidden, and it's gonna be a bit of a game changer, at least until it's fixed, where their fur like kind of has this weird outline thing that happens that's visible through brush. And it's not just red deer, we've seen it with whitetail, we've seen it with black bear, a number of species kind of have that happen. And I mean, it's not like you can't, or it's not like you can't avoid it, I guess I should say. So we'll make use of whatever little advantages we can get, but that may end up helping us a lot. But two more down, that is a brown fur type. I really hope there's like a red brown. That was already a descriptor in the game for things like warthog and I think kudu as well. It would be kind of unfortunate if a species, you know, known for their kind of red coloration didn't have at least one fur type that has the color red mentioned. And by the way, we did not actually fast travel back. I've seen it and I'm sure we'll look at it more in this video, but red deer seem to be one of the species affected by kind of the disappearing dead animal glitch. And by the way, sounds like we have some wolves coming to visit. Now we don't want to delete the zones, so we'll kind of take a look at them and see what's going on. And this one is a light brown again, so no red brown just yet. If there's any big wolves, we may actually take them. Otherwise, the way that I've been handling this is just simply to fast travel away. And I think, given the way this is going, that is probably the move. Now, I don't know if we'll be able to get that to happen again. And due to the wolf situation, I didn't really get to fully explain it, but basically the bodies of the downed red deer will disappear, but their antlers stay visible, so it may not happen when you insta-drop them. We might get to see it with the level 6. We did get a lung, so I want to keep an eye on him to see if it's going to happen, and it doesn't matter too much. When you get within a certain distance, the body becomes visible again, and he actually got so far. Yeah, we saw the body disappear, and I think see a little bit of the antler visible there. I can't tell if that's a branch or the antler, but either way, the antlers do stay visible, and that's just kind of something that happens, and it can make kind of going to claim them a little bit difficult. If you're not within that distance that makes them visible again, it can be tough to know exactly where they are unless you do just directly follow the tracks. So that may be one thing that does slow us down on this, but hopefully a combination of knowing where they were and having Rascal track them can sort of offset that. Well, that is interesting. Got a wolf just kind of hanging out here, and I've seen it with the red deer at times. At this particular zone, they'll get stuck. Just a random level 2 female wolf, so we'll just kind of let it be. But then, I'm sure we're already at the distance where the body of that red deer is visible, and he had gotten to a spot where it was tough to see anyway. If we are not careful, that red deer hide is going to end up killing us. But anyway, maybe in a different instance we'll get a better look at that. Just in this case, we weren't really able to do it, but at least we got 2 more from that spot. It's been so consistent, spawning 2 stags over and over throughout the course of the entire 2300 plus stag grind, and It's nice to have those reliable spots. Often they eventually end up switching it up, but that one's pretty much stayed the same. That is not a sight you generally like to see. The level 9 is nice. Not with that particular rack, despite the fact that the score estimate does go up to 254, which in theory would give him a chance of reaching diamond, since that requirement is 251. That rack just simply never does make it, so we'll get up here in the tripod and try to get him. That's a weird place for them to go and shrink. I don't remember them being there last time. We may have deleted the zone or something on the last run through, I'm really not too sure. But it looks like only the 2 stags, and I don't know, it is obviously a troll. It's not the smartest thing to go for what would be a intentional mess up shot, but I don't see much beyond a headshot there as an option. Maybe we'll kind of alert them with a 22. I'd hate to intentionally mess it up just because it is a 9. So we'll just kind of shoot over there near them. That should be enough to get their attention, and it may make a quick follow-up on that smaller one a bit more difficult. And of course the hinds are going to add to the difficulty here, but eventually we should be able to get a shot in. If he would have stayed broadside, we could have done it there. He's going to turn. Not a drop shot like I would have liked, but, well, actually, doing it in the opposite order is just fine too. Generally, you don't get 2 drop shots, so 1 we would have had the track regardless. By the way, that is what I was referring to, and we got to see the body kind of become visible again. If you can see the rack, it's just fine, but if you get into some brush, get into the trees, maybe even into the shadows, it's not quite as easy to see where they're actually at. So that's kind of what I was referring to way back when the wolves are getting after us, and finally an opportunity to really see it. But 2 more stags down here, and I'm curious actually if there's any drinking back behind that hill. I don't immediately see any, but it's been a while since we've had really any less than about 4 stags here, so I'll be interested to see what else is around, and that answers my question right there. 3 more over on that side. So real quick, our level 9 is of course a troll, a 240.4. I can't remember if that's better than the mythical we started out with. If it is, it's not by much, but a couple of kind of decent ones from the level 8 and 9. And now the difficult part. Trying to find a way to get all 3 of these. We're going to see if we can line something up. The way they are sitting in there, it doesn't look ideal. It's going to be a risk to begin with, but the only reasonable thing I see to do is try to brain shot the 6, then get that one, then get the big one in the front. So I can't really even spend the time to see if we hit it, and unfortunately that one hind kind of messed us up. So the 7 at least gave us an opportunity for a decent vital hit. The 6 is still kind of trying to escape. That shot might have been good. It looked like he had turned into it. I guess he didn't. But if he'll kind of keep on hanging out in that area, I'm not sure how that shot didn't hit him. Well, the 1 hit may still bring him down. I want to say it will. That could have gone a lot better, but it also could have gone worse after the hit to the female. I guess at least the good news is the 2 stags died pretty much in the same area, and also that brain shot didn't at least cost us a gold. It would have been a silver regardless. And we got a shot in there to double on this one, which by the way is dark brown. So I want to say it was light brown, dark brown, and just brown. I really wish they would have done a red brown. It just seems like that should have been a thing. But anyway, it is about 7:30 in game. If we want to complete this run, we gotta get up here to the bigger lakes, so it's gonna be interesting. It's been a while since we've done these runs. This might not go the best, but this is where the vast majority of the stags have been. Unfortunately, the vast majority of the stags does not mean the vast majority of the big ones. A level 6 and a level 4 to start out this lake, and a roe deer female really trying to make this difficult, so trying to time that shot to go around the head of level 6 and also around the roe deer female, and I think we managed vital hits. The 2 stags are down side by side, so we definitely lucked out in that regard, but just up here ahead of us is what often tends to be the most difficult part of this run. Essentially, we gotta get in render of the red deer that are over there, Sometimes we can hit one stag and then we gotta fast travel over and get some on the run. That's usually where it gets the most difficult, and again, like I said, I haven't done it in a while, but hopefully they'll kind of cooperate for us. And there is a nice looking stag back in there. It's definitely not a small rack level 9. They actually aren't that massive, which is weird, but it's just kind of the way that it goes. And a lot of this particular part of the run is all about getting here as quickly as possible. We've got a tripod set up because I've had as many as like 5 stags come through here. So in order to not delete the zone, we have to be here and in the tripod and ready to go. Now that was the little one that was in front of the one that we shot, and unfortunately our follow-up hit that hind. We're still good, that was a vital hit. And actually I don't see any others coming through. We might have a pretty decent kind of distribution of the stags across the bunch of lakes, and I have to assume that our other one went down. In fact, he's down right back there. I do have to appreciate the way that things have kind of worked out thus far. I kind of mentioned being a little bit rusty and being worried about that, maybe, I don't know, lowering the quality of our hunt, but thus far, we've not had to shoot more than 2 stags in any one area, and this would be our 3rd level 8 or better. Might as well just be our 3rd level 8 because the Troll 9 never had any chance whatsoever. But it's good to see the numbers there. And actually, yeah, that's something that doesn't happen all that often. They will spawn over there at times, but that's not one that I can exactly rely on. And I would guess that kind of goes back and forth between the zone that we just shot them from and over there. So we can go ahead and try to take that guy from a distance. And the reason I do that is if there are any stags that I haven't seen, like hidden in those trees for instance, shooting from this far away, and making a drop shot helps not having to track, but shooting from that distance means they're so far away, they won't hear the shot, and they're not going to end up fleeing when I don't even see them. I do want to know the shot distance there, 329 meter hard shot. Not too bad, of course it was just a level 5, but yeah, I didn't see any in between, so the long shot wasn't necessarily something we had to do, but it's, I think, good practice. There is a track here as if one had been in the area, though. Well, I mentioned disappointment earlier. That is a whole different level of unfortunate. I can say with certainty that that melanistic red deer hind is a respawn from an accidental shot. That's the only way that a melanistic hind could have gotten up here. Because on this grind, we have actively avoided, that recoil was rough by the way, but we've actively avoided shooting any hinds. It's been just a hunt for stags, and it has happened I think twice already today, where we just hit hinds by accident, and I knew it was bound to happen eventually, and that really is the reason I don't tend to shoot like whitetail does or the great one grind for whitetail, or the hinds for the red deer grind. Just that is a little bit demoralizing to see, because one of the things that in my opinion kind of keeps grinds like this going is the occasional diamond or rare, and you know, obviously you want to see the rares with antlers and potential for super rares and all that kind of stuff. So to see a random, you know, maybe we shot 30 of them on this entire grind, end up turning up as a rare, it's a little unfortunate, but I guess on the other side of it, we didn't have to shoot that many to get a very rare to show up, so does that mean we could get a great one to actually spawn in? Maybe. All it ultimately takes is just one, and by the way, we didn't get a new zone there, but that's not a spot that they often drink in, so let's just kind of go ahead and take that shot. We get to go over there anyway. Pretty sure it was a vital hit. Took a little while for the health to start dropping. There should have been one down up in here somewhere that we can go and get those couple of stags and the melanistic. Did not realize how small that level 5 was either. Just a little 122. And now we can go and take a look at the more interesting one. There actually is a really nice bright side to this one. We do now have an additional hind to go with the second melanistic stag that we shot probably 2 hunts ago as far as the red deer grind goes. And by the way, the kind of fur improvements, fur quality improvements that they've done makes this look very blue. They don't really seem to look like that when they're walking around, but kind of similarly to how the kudu don't look as good in the harvest screen there. The melanistic red deer at least kinda don't either. And then ultimately 2 more stags from this area. Our little level 5 and the 6 that kinda drank in an area that we don't often see. And then, I don't know, but I think there should be more red deer other than this. If there's not, I don't see any stags, but sometimes there's another herd further kinda east there. Unfortunately, I would say it is a little bit late to make it to any additional lakes on this run. It is currently 9:32 in-game, and even the late zones for red deer would end at 9:30, so I guess we'll go back to the Trophy Lodge and place the melanistic hind in a multi-mount with the melanistic stag that we got. At least kind of making additions, and I guess that's technically another rare from this grind. So now what we have is a pair of multi-mounts for the melanistic red deer. We had 2 level 6 melanistics on this grind, and actually this hind I think was maybe the first or second one that actually came from the grind. The rest of the rare hinds were from previous hunts, but all the stags of course in this lodge were from it, and I hope we don't end up filling up the entire lodge before we get the great one, but I guess that kind of remains to be seen. But definitely some progress today. Nice to get a rare as we are kind of continuing our way along. And hopefully, you know, one of those red deer that we shot today can respawn into the one that we are after. But anyway, that is going to do it for this video. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.